Hello everybody, this is GamerGar and welcome back to another video of Stardew Valley. For today's video I'm going to show you some amazing tips on how you can very easily and quickly max out all of the NPCs in the game by showing you how you can get your hands on loved items for all the NPCs without spending too much money or investing too much time. Let's jump into the video. The first NPC we're going to talk about today is Robin. Now there's a few loved gifts that are very easy for Robin. The first is just purchasing a peach tree. Plant that in your greenhouse. That'll give you a peach every day that you can give to Robin. You can also purchase spaghetti from Gus for only 240 gold. Robin also loves spaghetti. These two loved items make Robin very easy to get the hearts up with. And the reason why you want to get hearts up with Robin is because she gives you some really cool recipes, such as the flute blocks, for example, if you want to complete some of the puzzles over on Ginger Island later on in the game. Next up, let's talk about Willy. Willy absolutely loves catfish. Now he also loves octopus and sturgeon, but catfish in my opinion is an easier fish to get, and you can get the catfish in spring on rainy days if you fish in the river. You can also get it in summer on rainy days if you fish in the secret woods. If you don't like fish and don't worry about it, Willy also loves pumpkins, so you can either grow your pumpkins in fall or you can just grow them in your greenhouse or over on Ginger Island and get the hearts up with Willy. Absolutely no problem at all. What I love most about Willy is that he will actually give you a star drop when you capture all the fish in the game, so you will come across catfish and octopuses and sturgeons on your travels. Next up, let's talk about Pam. Pam is also very easy for loved gifts. Pam loves cactus fruit, so if you have garden pots and you want to trivialize Pam, just plant some cactus seeds in your house. If you don't have garden pots, you can very easily purchase parsnip seeds off Pierre. Grow these up in spring. They're very cheap to buy, they're only 30 gold a piece, and you can give those to Pam as well. Pam absolutely loves parsnips. And if you don't have parsnips, if you're in any other season, you can very easily go to Gus and you can purchase beer off Gus. Pam also loves beer. So you've got plenty of items in the game that are very easy to get that you can gift Pam to get the hearts up. Pam is really nice for befriending because she will send you in the mail energy tonics and battery packs. So let's just give Pam a cactus fruit here now, because if we're going to the desert we don't want her drink driving. So cactus fruit, beer and parsnips are the way to go with Pam. Very cheap indeed. So the next NPC we're going to talk about today is Kent. Now Kent is a year 2 NPC, so you won't get access to Kent until the second year of the game. But when Kent does come along, he absolutely loves roasted hazelnuts, and this is going to be the easiest loved gift you're going to get Kent. To make roasted hazelnuts, all you need are 3 hazelnuts. Fortunately, there's tons of ways in this game that you can get your hands on loads of hazelnuts. The first is by finding it on the ground in fall, because it is a common foraged item. The second way is to shake maple trees in fall between the 15th and the 28th, and there's a chance the trees will drop hazelnuts for you. And the last way is to plant tons of wild fall seeds, and you have a very good chance to get loads of hazelnuts back. And that's how easy Kent is to max out with the hearts. Next up, let's talk about Marnie. Marnie has 2 easy loved gifts that you can get. One is called pumpkin pie, so for that you need pumpkin as the primary recipe. You also need wheat flour and you need sugar, and you can easily buy those from Pierre in his shop. The second thing that she loves is pink cake, and pink cake is another easy recipe. All you need for this one are melons, and you also have the other ingredients you can get from Pierre, such as the sugar and the wheat flour. Now the thing is, if you want to make pumpkin pie, then you need milk. So rule of thumb, if you have cows, go with the pumpkin pie. If you don't have cows but you've lots of chickens, then go with the pink cake, because the pink cake requires eggs. So if you have chickens, then you're going to be purchasing melons, making pink cake. If you have cows, you're going to be purchasing pumpkins with milk. So we're just going to give Marnie a nice pumpkin pie here now at the moment, and she absolutely loves that. The next NPC we're going to talk about is going to be Lewis. Lewis is very easy to get the hearts up. All he needs are hot peppers, and a great way to make sure that you can give Lewis hot peppers is by simply putting a garden pot in his house and have it grow hot peppers, as hot pepper is a regrowable crop. That will make Lewis very easy to get the hearts up with. Next up, let's talk about Maru and Demetrius. They absolutely love strawberries. So again, you can either grow loads of strawberries in spring, or if you have garden pots, you can just put the garden pots in their house, put 2 strawberries into it, and it will regrow the strawberries every few days, making Maru and Demetrius incredibly easy to befriend in the game. While we're in the house, let's jump down to Sebastian. Sebastian absolutely loves sashimi. So Linus will give you the sashimi recipe. After you accumulate a few hearts with him, you can convert any fish in the game into sashimi, making Sebastian very easy to befriend. Now he's asleep at the moment, so he won't take the sashimi off us, so we'll give him the lovely sashimi tomorrow instead, and we'll let this programmer get his rest. Next up, let's talk about Linus. Linus loves cactus fruit, but he also loves coconuts. So if you're out in the desert and you see cactus lying around the place or coconuts, be sure to pick those up and give them to Linus. Next up, let's talk about Gus. The best way to get hearts up with Gus is to purchase an orange sapling and grow oranges in your greenhouse. Once your orange tree grows up, it will produce 1 orange every day, making Gus incredibly easy to befriend. Now you don't have to put the sapling in your greenhouse, you can also put this in your farm and it will produce oranges in summer for you, or you can put it on Ginger Island. And that's all you need for Gus. Also, if you have the fruit cave, the fruit bat cave, there's also a chance the bats will generate oranges for you. Next up, let's talk about Sandy. Sandy absolutely loves daffodils, but we're also going to harvest leeks here, wild horseradishes and tulips, because we're going to cover a bunch of NPCs at once, and all these items you can get your hands on in spring. So what I've done here is I've just harvested a ton of daffodils. I'm going to put a chest in Sandy's shop here. I'm going to fill it up to the top with nice daffodils, and I'm going to give these daffodils to Sandy. And the reason why this is such a great tactic is because sometimes when I come out to the desert I forget to bring the daffodil with me, but if you put chests in people's houses, you'll never forget to give them loved gifts. And Sandy absolutely loves flowers, but one of her favourite flowers is a daffodil, which is incredibly easy to get in spring as it's a very common foraged item. The next NPC we're going to talk about is George. George absolutely loves leeks. Leek is another very common forageable that you can get your hands on in spring. So we're just going to put a chest down here, we're going to fill it up with leeks, but we're also going to fill up the chest with tulips because Evelyn loves tulips and it's a very cheap flower that you can grow in spring, and this will set you up for the rest of the game to max out Evelyn and George, because you can give George the leek and then you can just go to Evelyn and you can give her tulips. Evelyn also loves diamonds, but it's much cheaper to give her tulips instead. As we can see, Evelyn is chilling out in the community centre. This room brings back old memories, which is really nice. And we're just going to give Evelyn a nice tulip there to make her day. Next up, let's talk about Krobus. So we're going to put another chest in the source here, and we're going to fill this chest up with wild horse radishes. Krobus absolutely loves the wild horse radish, and that is another very common forageable item that you can get your hands on in spring. And Krobus thinks it's an absolutely amazing gift. You can very easily max out Krobus using wild horse radishes. And that is why spring is so important when it comes to maxing out NPCs. Next up we have the dwarf. The dwarf likes topazes, amethysts, aquamarines, emeralds, jades and rubies, but he also likes omni geodes. So the dwarf is another easy candidate for loved gifts. Let's give him an omni geode here. He's going to absolutely love this. And this is a very easy way to get the hearts up with the dwarf. So I have crystallariums inside the mines here on the hub level that generates minerals that he loves, trivializing the dwarf. Next up, let's talk about Penny. Penny absolutely loves sandfish. Best way to get sandfish is just to go to the desert here and fish them up out of the water. All you need is 1 or 2 good days of fishing and you can accumulate enough sandfish to max out Penny in no time at all. Penny has other loved items, but I find the easiest one to get her is the sandfish. And as we can see, Penny absolutely loves that. Penny is one of the easiest NPCs to befriend in the game because sandfish are so easy to get. It's not the hardest fish to catch. Next up, let's talk about Clint. Clint loves the same minerals as the dwarf, so we're just going to give him an amethyst here, but you can also give him an emerald, a ruby and an aquamarine, amongst other things. Clint absolutely loves minerals. And while we're talking about minerals, let's go over to Clint's secret crush, which is Emily. She also loves the same minerals that Clint loves, so we'll just give her some nice minerals as well. And Emily absolutely loves those. There are 2 more NPCs that are very easy to max out in this game. Next up, let's talk about Vincent. Vincent loves snails, so if you put a crab pot down in the river area, you have a chance to get snails. This makes Vincent incredibly easy to get max friendship with, as the crab pots will attempt to get you a snail every single day. All you have to do is put bait inside them and you're good to go. Speaking about crab pots, let's move on over to Elliot. Elliot absolutely loves lobster, and you can get your hands on lobster if you put down crab pots in the beach area. You have a chance to get the lobster, and this makes Elliot incredibly easy to get hearts up with as well, because the crab pots will try to get you lobsters each day, and you can change your fishing perks to make getting lobsters easier by selecting the perk where crab pots don't generate trash items. So Vincent and Elliot are the way to go with crab pots. Next up, let's talk about Jazz. Now Jazz loves pink cake, but if you're having trouble making the pink cake, you can very easily plant fairy roses in fall, and Jazz absolutely loves fairy roses. So as you can see, I've just got a ton of fairy roses here. The best thing to do with these is to put them in a chest inside Jazz's room or inside Marnie's house and just fill them up with fairy roses like I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to place a chest here in Jazz's room. We just got to make sure that it's on a tile that Jazz doesn't go to, otherwise she'll destroy the chest. And we're going to fill this chest up to the top with fairy roses, and this makes Jazz very easy to max out in terms of friendship. Fairy roses with Jazz are always the way to go, and you get those in fall. While we're here, let's talk about Shane. Shane loves beer, pizza, and he also loves hot peppers. Since we have growable hot peppers in Lewis's house, we might as well use the hot peppers on Shane as well, saving us a small bit of money so we don't have to go to Gus and purchase beer and pizza all the time. Shane absolutely loves hot peppers. Next up, let's talk about Haley. Haley loves sunflower seeds, and you can purchase them off Pierre for 300 gold a piece, but if the Joja Mart is still open for you, you can get them for 200 gold in the Joja Mart. Sunflowers are by far the way to go with Haley. She absolutely loves sunflowers, and you can grow these in summer. And the great thing about sunflowers is that when you harvest sunflowers, there's a very good chance to get back sunflower seeds, meaning you can regrow the crop over and over again. So we're going to put a chest inside Haley's house, fill it up with sunflowers, and Haley absolutely loves these. As we can see, it's one of her favourite things. Haley hates prismatic shards, so just be aware when it comes to using universal loved gifts. You can never go wrong with a nice sunflower for Haley. Next up, let's talk about Harvey. So we're just going to go to Gus here. I'm going to purchase salads. I'm also going to purchase beer, I'm going to purchase pizza, and I'm going to purchase coffee. So the great thing about Gus is that he has items that you can purchase off him every single day, which makes it very easy to max out certain NPCs in the game. Harvey loves coffee. Now you can easily grow your own coffee, but if you don't like farming that much, you can very easily purchase coffee off Gus. Next up, we have Leah. Leah loves salads, and you can purchase those off Gus too, just like I did there. Put a chest in Leah's house, fill it up with salads, and you'll never go wrong. Salads is something that Leah absolutely loves, and it's a very easy way to max out the hearts with Leah. Next up, let's talk about Sam. Sam absolutely loves pizza, And this is another item that we can purchase from Gus. You can also make pizza as well, but my opinion is easier just to buy it off Gus, because you only have to give 2 gifts per week, 3 on a birthday week. Abigail loves amethysts, but she also loves pumpkins. So if you're growing pumpkins for other people, Willie for example, you can also give one to Abigail as well. If you're not a fan of pumpkins, Abigail will also take amethysts off you, as she also loves the minerals as well. So Abigail is another easy NPC to max out in Stardew Valley. Next up, let's talk about Caroline. Caroline absolutely loves spangles. So if you're in summer, purchase loads of spangle seeds and you can grow these up on your farm. And spangle seeds work the same way as tulips. You're going to get loads of different types of spangles, so make sure that you have room in your inventory when you're harvesting these. Best thing to do with these spangles is to make a chest. Put them inside Pierre's house, and then when Caroline is around, you can simply open up the chest and you can gift them to Caroline. No problem at all. So we'll use the chest here that we put in Abigail's room. We'll fill these up with summer spangles, and we're just going to take one. We're going to find Caroline. Normally, you can find her roaming around the store here. If you don't see her in the store, don't forget to check the sunroom that Caroline likes to chill out in, drinking her lovely green tea, which she also loves. But we're going to go with summer spangles. Next up, we have Jodi. Jodi loves pancakes. If you have chickens, pancakes are extremely easy to make. The pancake will use any egg type, including the void egg, the golden egg, the duck egg, and the ostrich egg. So it doesn't matter what kind of egg you have, you can make pancakes, no problem. But if we use the void eggs, we won't tell Jodi about that. Best thing to do with the pancakes is to stock up on wheat flour, make tons of pancakes, and you can easily give them to Jodi, get the hearts up with her, no problem. The wizard is another easy NPC to gain friendship with. All you need for the wizard are void essences or solar essences that you can very easily get from the enemies in the mines. The wizard absolutely loves these items as they're full of lovely arcane energies. We all know that the wizard loves these arcane energies, but more importantly, getting friendship with the wizard is incredibly easy, because as you progress through the game, you will find loads of enemies that drop solar essences and void essences. Next up, let's talk about Leo. Leo loves mango. He also loves ostrich eggs, but duck feather is the way to go with Leo, especially if you don't have a mango tree. Leo will move to Stardew Valley once you have accumulated a couple of hearts, so you can either find them over on Ginger Island or you can find them hanging around the mountain area here. He's talking to Lewis at the moment, and Leo's so funny. He says he should cook the fish before eating it. So that means Leo used to eat raw fish over on Ginger Island. He didn't know how to cook. But duck feathers are the way to go with Leo, absolutely. Next up, we're going to talk about Pierre, one of the more challenging NPCs for loved gifts, because you have to wait until winter before you can make the fried calamari. You need squid for the fried calamari, but that's it. You can get the wheat flour and the oil from Pierre in the shop, so once you accumulate enough squid, you can very easily make fried calamari and get hearts up with Pierre, no problem at all. Pierre doesn't really have any other love gifts, except for the universal love gifts. Next up, we have Alex, another difficult NPC in terms of loved gifts. The salmon dinner is probably the best way to go about it. The complete breakfast, in my opinion, is way too difficult. For the salmon dinner, all you need is a salmon. You need kale, which you can grow in spring, and you need amaranth, which you can grow in fall. When you have all these items, you can then make yourself a lovely salmon dinner for Alex. If you have Ginger Island and Pierre's missing stock list, you can very easily and quickly make salmon dinners for Alex. Now, salmon can only be fished up in fall, so if you have magic bait and you're out of season, you can get the salmon, no problem. Let's cook up the salmon dinner now. So as we can see, it needs salmon, amaranth and kale. And this is why I chose Alex as one of the last NPCs to show you in the video, because him and Pierre are very difficult. Next up, let's talk about the rabbit's foot. It's a universal loved gift. However, there is one NPC that absolutely hates rabbit's foot, and that is Penny. So if you have lots of rabbits, make sure you don't give Penny your rabbit's foot, as she doesn't like it at all. It's also worth noting too that the prismatic shard is another universal loved gift, but Hayley is the only NPC in the game that hates this. So just make sure that if you are giving prismatic shards to people, to not give it to Hayley. Other universal gifts include the golden pumpkin and the pearl, and you can very easily get those from artifact troves, which you can trade in for omnigeodes when you're looking at the desert trader. Clint has a good chance in getting you golden pumpkins and pearls by breaking open these treasure troves. There's other events in the game that allow you to get these items, but your best bet when it comes to universal loved gifts are to go with the treasure troves. So I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you enjoyed it. I will upload the next Stardew Valley video in the next few days, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then hit that subscribe button. If you like Stardew Valley content, you'll absolutely love this channel. Bye.